Podcast, episode 365. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/RatedG4Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man? This is the last of like our E3 coverage.
Is it?
Or should I say, wait, the game coverage.
Right? It is the game coverage. Jeff Keighley presents the games.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is.
Hey, man.
It's the Game Awards without the awards, so it's just the game. That's it.
It's just the games. Honestly, yeah. And we can get right into it because we got a lot to go over, but I think in terms of what we saw, what we've seen, the people that showed up, to me, it's no different than E3, minus the fact of the big dedicated showroom surrounding the conferences.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, that's true.
For anyone who's at home, we still get all the same conferences, still get all the same people. They do all their stuff. It's under one banner, right? Everything was under Summer Games Fest. Keighley brought everybody together, and we saw some good stuff. We got some stage presentations.
Well, we got Jeff Keighley's stage presentation, right? In front of a live crowd, the way E3 used to be.
Yeah.
At its height, because when it first started, people were on stage, but it was sort of presented like a business event.
Right. Well, yeah. Sony famously came out and just said $299 and then walked off stage when they were debuting the PlayStation. Can't do that anymore.
You sure it was $299? I think it was $199.
$299 for the PS1
original.
Oh, the PS1. Yeah, $299. Because the Saturn was $399, and Sony was like, they were just waiting to see what their price point was going to be. Sony's like, we got this.
Yeah.
And they rolled out Script B, which was literally just $299 period, and then they walk off stage because they knew they had them beat price wise. Which is
well, I mean, that and it was out, for Saturn, it's out, and it's out now.
Yeah, that was
or so tomorrow.
Weird. That was unprecedented. Bad move.
Yeah, and it didn't work. So
no, sadly,
even though the Saturn top 3 most underrated consoles.
I mean, it's got some bangers on there. It was a great 2D console. You're right.
All right, well, on this episode, we're gonna go over the Day of the Devs and the Devolver Digital Showcase. We're going to talk about Ubisoft Forward and the Capcom Showcase. So you were really into the Day of the Devs and the Devolver Digital, but the Devolver Digital one was what it always is, more of a WWE event, right?
Yeah,
it's more of a spectacle.
It's weird AF, and they brought it. The narrative was a little bit different. There was a through line, I think, the last couple of years that they were going with. This one was the return of Volvy, the Devolver Digital character mascot that you know and love for the past 30 years, which I thought was great. It was like a Mario or a Sonic, and it was Volvy throughout the ages. And
it was just his hand. It was just the guy's hand, right? Like that's how they made the card. They made him like it was. The original guy was like he just drew his hand. And
he had like a big oversized hand. Yeah. It was a little like mouse rat character or whatever it was, and the guy like who created him was like a big fan. And they do a whole like mockumentary thing about it, about how like they've like eked all the juice out of him, and he's no longer what he was. He ends up going away for a while, and then he comes back as Volv, VOLV-E. And he's like a robot now. He's come back bigger and better. And they like shuffle the creator of Volvy out on stage, and he's like crying. He's like, what did they do to my boy? It was like a whole thing. And then they're like, hey, this is great. We got this new AI thing, and we can have Volvy create video games for you. You just give them a prompt, and that was how they introduced every game. It's like, well, what if we do like this kind of game? And then they would roll the trailer for whatever their new thing was. But
at least no one got shot this time.
Oh yeah, that happened a couple of years ago. Yeah, that happened a couple of years ago.
That happened 2 years in a row. That happened
Yeah.
2 years in a row. Like somebody got shot. Like somebody's arm got chopped off with a samurai sword.
Yeah. I would definitely
Yeah.
say you have to check it out. It's funny. It's cool. It's a little light on content. There's only like maybe 4, maybe 5 games in there, but it's a really interesting presentation. And I think the biggest takeaway from it was Hyperlight Breakers or Hyperlight Breaker, which is the sequel to Hyperlight Drifter, the great
Good game. Good game.
Yeah. Kind of 2D top-down actiony. A little like retro wavy, had like kind of interesting colors to it. Really great chill soundtrack. Good stuff. This is now expanded out a little bit. I think we were talking a little before the show. It's an open world style game. I think the mechanics probably going to stay the same.
Not really top down, more like a traditional open world 3D style game now.
They've
right?
changed the camera a little bit. Yeah, they've kind of put it a little bit above and a little bit behind the character, which I think is kind of cool. I think it's going to feel like Hyperlight Drifter, just kind of a 2023 or 2024 version. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought this was the best thing at any of the sort of indie showcases. Right?
It was good. It was.
I really like the original game, which
Right.
I've been meaning to get back to. There's just so many games that I've been playing now, but if this is the sequel, I'm digging it.
It's also probably the most straightforward out of all the stuff that we saw at the 2 conferences, right? I think that's kind of fair to say. But it does look good.
Coming out this year in the fall.
Yeah. Later this year in the fall. I don't have the systems offhand, but most likely it's going to be PC,
It's probably
PlayStation, Xbox, and I would also assume Switch. It looks great, but it doesn't look overly demanding. So I think we can say that about it. Obviously, it's not coming to Stadia. I guess we have to mention that. But probably all major consoles and PC. I think that's fair to say. And then there was some other. Now it gets a little weird because there's a game called Baby Steps, which is from developer Bennett Foddy. I don't know if you played any of his games, Dan, but he made.
Wait, is this the game where the guy's trying to walk? He's trying to learn how to walk again. All right, he was trying to walk and he keeps falling down. This is
what Baby Steps is. Yeah, this is the guy.
I didn't check out the name of that game. Okay, I remember this.
This is the guy who made QWOP, which was the Olympic running simulator, which Baby Steps is essentially a 3D version of QWOP. In QWOP, you have to use Q, W, O, and P to move the arms and feet of a character to get motion to start running, and it is incredibly tough. I don't think I made it more than 3 seconds. You have to find the rhythm and get the motion, but it's ridiculous because like all the arms move. It's weird. He also made Getting Over It a couple years ago, which made internet fame. He makes a lot of kind of meme games, right? Games that make a big splash and that YouTubers love to play and they get really angry over. But I love it. Bennett Foddy's awesome. It's very good. This is a 3D walking simulator. Has a lot of the wit and charm that Bennett Foddy is known for, so very excited for that. This is coming out for PS5 and PC, which is cool. I would assume eventually it'll come to Xbox and probably Switch. I don't see why not. Doesn't look very technically demanding. It is a full 3D game for sure, but I don't see why it wouldn't come to those systems. And then we got a Viewfinder, right? Viewfinder is a first-person puzzle game, right?
This one reminded me of like Braid a little bit, right? Like at first, like just the world as you go on traversing through the world. I thought it was like Braid, but like instead of like doing puzzles, you have to take a picture and to sort of find your way through the world, and that is the puzzle.
Yeah, so like 3D, fully 3D environment, and you're going around, and they'll be like, I don't know, the bridge is out, right? It's like cracked or whatever, or like the steps are missing, right? It's kind of a little bit maybe old worldy, Mediterranean, Greece. I don't know necessarily where you are. It's probably some fantasy land or whatever.
Well, that could be the setting for that level,
Right?
That particular level. But you look like you're in a fantasy land just in general,
Right. And you basically have to get from like, let's say, like point A to point B. You have to solve this environmental physical puzzle. So what you could do is you could take a picture of something and then move it into the space where the bridge is missing, and then you can use that picture and turn it into reality. So then it becomes like a thing you can like walk over and walk through, which I think is super cool. And, you know, they were showing like, well, you could make you could make stairs like this, or you could have something that had like movable objects, and they like put the picture up in the sky, and then the things fell out of the picture and turned into real objects. So it looks kind of interesting. I think you have to see the trailer to really get an idea of what it looks like, but looks super interesting. I'm curious.
I think the one thing that you're missing from your description, and when younger viewers actually watch the trailer of this, you know, they're not gonna know. They've never heard. They're not gonna know what he's using to take pictures. And back in the day, before cell phones had, you know, cameras or anything, before anybody had a cell phone, if we wanted to take a picture and have an instant picture, it was something called a Polaroid camera. Okay?
They have those now today. They have those today. They're just like super retro.
No, they're for like kids.
Yeah.
For, you know, little kids who want to take pictures
like
of their toys. Yeah, it's like a toy machine back when we were younger. It was the thing you used to take pictures.
Instant pictures, right? They would come out right away. Pictures. A couple seconds later, when like the light hits it, boom, there's your photo. It's crazy. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's gonna be cool. Again, this is coming out PS5 and Steam. Hopefully this comes out for other systems. And then the final one I wanted to mention was Salt Sea Chronicles.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
I did see that. I remember that. Isn't there box art is like the world in half some of the they're like on some rock, and half the rock's underwater and all the people like on top of the rock or something like that. Yeah,
it's real interesting. It it looks like a graphic designer's senior project. It's very designed. It's a flat 2D world, very basic colors, but it's very like saturated. Colors are very considered. They all kind of work well together. The art design is very simple in a good way, I think. And basically, you have a ship, you have a crew. You can take your crew around to different islands, and you explore those islands. And you'll come across people, inhabitants of those islands. Sometimes they're human, sometimes they're cats. They made a big point about that. There's a whole island of cats. Los Gatos.
That's why you wanted to talk about this game.
I mean,
cat. That's why.
It's, you know, who doesn't love cats? Who doesn't love cats? But so there is one specific island that's like cat heavy. But basically, when you come across these people, they have problems that you need to solve to continue the story, right? So you'll kind of talk to them and figure out like, oh, I have this problem. So, okay, well, you know, we'll figure out how to do it either through dialogue options, or I think there's maybe an inventory system. Maybe you can find stuff to like cure what their problem is, or like whatever else. And you can kind of go around. It seems a little bit open worldy. You can kind of go around and like do it in order that you want. If you get stuck, you can go back to a previous thing with like an instant warp back to the other points, because like they like in the trailer they like zoomed out of one of the islands at like one point, and it was like huge, super long, and to walk all the way back to find something you missed would have been like bananas. So they're like, you can just like insta warp back to these previous spots, right? Because it's like here's a scene, so you can go back to wherever you need to go back to, and you can take different crew members with you. You can't take your full crew. I don't know if those different crew members give you different options in how you can solve those problems. I feel like maybe that would be part of it. Otherwise, like, why would you choose the different characters? Or maybe they say different like flavor text when you talk to the different people. I mean, it looked it looked really cool. There's no combat. It is just adventure, puzzle solving. You know, you go around the island, you experience the beautiful graphics, talk to the islanders, solve their problems. They also said, which I think was kind of interesting, is that some islanders, their problems can't be solved. I don't know how apparent that is, but yeah, there's some stuff you just can't solve. You can listen to them and console them and whatever else, and you're like, well, I don't know if I can solve this person's problem. And they don't necessarily tell you that, I don't think, in the game. Also, you don't have to do everything, apparently. Like, especially the cat island. In your playthrough, you may not even get to the cat island. You may not experience the whole entire game. And that's what they want. They want you to have your own personal experience and to be able to go back and play it again if you want and have a different experience. So the level of replayability, I think, is like super cool. So yeah, those are just a few that I wanted to highlight. You know, in the last couple of days, we saw a huge amount of first-person and third-person action games. So, you know, it's good to know that there's some other stuff out there. And this is like, I think, the 10th or 11th year of Day of the Devs. Devolver's been doing it for maybe like 5 or 6 years now, I think. And yeah, they always come up with some like interesting different stuff. So
if you had to rate collectively Day of the Devs and Devolver Digital showcases, what would you give it?
Well, that's actually kind of tough because the Devolver Digital showcase for me didn't have a lot of substance necessarily, but it was
entertaining.
Did have a great presentation, right?
There you go.
Day of the Devs had both. Had a great presentation, and it had a lot of good content for me. So I would give it a B+ overall.
Wow.
Well, okay. I mean, everything in the Day of the Devs for me was brand new, which is refreshing. Okay. And we got to see gameplay, and we got the developers there to talk about the games and explain them and like talk about it, as opposed to just seeing like a sizzle reel or whatever it is. And with the Devolver thing, we got this like great narrative and this great satire on modern games and like, you know, trying to wedge AI into things and microtransactions, and you know, they always come up with some cool stuff. So I was entertained a lot by Devolver Digital. So
I will say this, that the entertainment factor for Devolver really like made it for me. Mm-hmm. I think the Day of the Devs dragged a little bit.
Okay.
Presentation wise, it was I don't want to say it was boring because it wasn't necessarily boring. I think it dragged. I think it went on a little bit. I think they could take a page out of Devolver's book a little bit to spice
keep it a little more
up.
concise. Fair.
Yeah. So I want to say I would give it a C+, but I'm thinking I'm going to elevate it to a B-.
All right, B-. All right, okay. Jesus, I feel like I'm back in school right now. Okay. Right. Yeah. So.
All right. So we gave. All right. No, but it was good. It was good. I just do think the Devolver one was light on
100%.
The light games, on content. The actual
light on
the The whole reason why we're here
is for the games. Yeah.
Was for the games, and if you have a variety of good games, that presentation makes it that much more better. And I think they were a little light on that, which is why I'm giving it. I'm knocking it down. The Day of the Devs did have a lot of games, a variety of games. I think just dragged a little bit. They could have presented it a little bit better in my view. So we're gonna rate them collectively B-. So, all right. With that said, let's talk about Ubisoft. And let's move forward. No pun intended, to Ubisoft Forward.
The most surprising conference for me. I was very surprised by this.
I'm not gonna lie. I was hopeful, and the reason why I was hopeful is there were games announced prior to the presentation, their showcase. Mm-hmm. But we knew we were going to get the actual gameplay, which is what I want, which is what I was complaining about with the Sony showcase and the Xbox showcase. We knew we were going to get gameplay for those games that were announced prior.
Well, I just want to say one quick thing about the Xbox stuff. There was a gameplay deep dive that came afterwards, and we did get more gameplay out of that. So
We were a little confused because I did say I was wrong about like the Starfield stuff because it was like Jeff Keighley could have sworn Jeff Keighley had mentioned it was going to be Star.
I thought the same thing, that it was going to be its own conference. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be his own conference afterwards. Yeah, afterwards. But it was just right after the Xbox conference.
No, but there was like a whole separate.
Yeah, but there was a whole separate thing. Yeah. So we sort of I got those two mixed up.
Right.
So,
right.
Because I thought that was the Starfield.
Now we didn't get a deep dive on Fable. We didn't get a deep dive on some stuff, but we did get like stuff about Avowed and some of the other games. Yeah. So
yeah, they did. We're not gonna like. I don't want to cover that. It was a little awkward.
No.
With Keanu Reeves and how they ended it. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did. Yeah,
a little awkward on that one. So I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
all right, but let's talk about Ubisoft Forward. All right, we got to see gameplay for Star Wars Outlaws. Now,
yep.
This game was announced at the Xbox Showcase from Massive Entertainment, Ubisoft, and Lucasfilm Games. We got to find out that the main protagonist in the game is called Kay Vess, with her companion Nyx, which is like a little I don't know what kind of animal.
It's the BB-8. It's the BB-8 or the R2D2 of this game.
Yeah, but it's like a little animal, right?
Oh, yeah. But it's like
it's not a little robot.
It's like the cute companion that's in every game, which I'm not mad at, but like we even had it in Jedi Survivor, right? They got the little little character in there too, and the first one too. So. But
you also get, it looks like you got like a robot companion called ND5, so I wonder how he works, sort of in the game. And we didn't see, I mean, we saw him sort of dialogue options, but not like, is he going to be useful in the world other than cutscenes? So that remains to be seen. But she seems to be a scoundrel seeking freedom from the Empire, right? It's an open world Star Wars game set between the events of Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
This, I will say, is the Han Solo game we never got.
Yeah, right? She's essentially going to be the Han Solo character because there's no lightsaber combat as far as we know. She doesn't have the Force, right? She's got a little blaster pistol. She's even kind of got that Han Solo look. She's got that snark, from what we can tell, which I'm kind of about it. Yeah, we never really got a Han Solo game.
Well, do you think this will be the first Star Wars game where there will be no talk of the Force, no talk of Jedis, Sith?
It's impossible.
And no lightsabers at all?
Well, I don't think we're going to see lightsaber combat, because how are you going to combat? How is she going to combat somebody with the Force? Right? It's like impossible. I don't think we've ever seen a matchup like that where that's worked out that way. Maybe like a spy or espionage mission, trying to blow up. Well, even when you're trying to blow up the Death Star, you still got Jedis who were making the final blow, right? It was freaking Luke going in there and like,
I will say she doesn't have the Force, but she does have some slowdown ability, right, in the game. Because while she got on her cruiser and she was getting chased by the enemy, she did sort of stop and have the two enemies fly past her, and she slowed down time as she was shooting them. So I don't know what type of ability that is. Obviously, it's not going to be the Force.
No, she's got some equipment on her that'll allow her to do that.
It's gamified. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to be Star Wars sort of connected to the Star Wars world. It's just gamified.
Yeah,
just a game mechanic.
Yeah. I do love like the gameplay. Everything like looks kind of cool. A lot of the cutscenes. I mean, it was all very kind of scripted, So it wasn't like I'm still a little bit. I'm still a little bit
on the fence.
Well, I'm on the fence of how is it actually going to play when you get it.
Well,
that's what I want to know.
I like the fact that you can use Nyx to grab objects, weapons, and push buttons. I wonder if you can have them like attack enemies. That's like
BD1 in the other Jedi series, right?
Yeah. But I wonder if you can have them. But I do wonder if you can have them like attack enemies and stuff like that. Like if that's a power upgrade or something.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
Later in the game.
Possibly. I mean, it looks super cool. Don't get me wrong. I love the art style, right? The way that they're going back to like the retro original 4, 5, and 6 trilogy, like that kind of style with like all the design. Like it looks cool, and if the gameplay matches what we saw, then I'm in. I'm curious how it's going to be on launch day. Is it going to be that smooth? It's obviously not going to be exactly like that because it was very curated, but it looks cool. It looks cool.
Well, you have a reputation system, and I don't know if you saw that. Like, you have a reputation system, so there are decisions that you make in the game that will affect your reputation in a galaxy. However, because it's set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, and we know what happens going forward,
you can't really do too much to affect the outcome, right?
You can change your reputation. I'm assuming dialogue. Certain dialogue,
probably in different ways to go about.
Yeah, but the end result will always be the same.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
This was one of my favorite games, if not the favorite game of the entire sort of E3 season this year. Like,
all right,
I loved it. I love this game. This is essentially Uncharted in Star Wars in the Star Wars world, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm digging it. I'm all in. Let's go. I'm all in.
All right. Yeah, same. Do we? I don't know if we have a release date or window for this.
2024.
It is 2024. Okay. So it's probably fall 2024. Maybe over the summer. I doubt it's going to make it out for Christmas 2. That is the official name for it. It is. Don't shake your head. You can't change the original Christmas that's always been there and call that Christmas too, just because it's more convenient.
It's just the beginning of the year, January.
Yeah, I get that.
That means that's Christmas 1.
No,
it can't.
That's not how that works. Then
it can't be behind 1. But anyway, all right. I digress.
That's not how that works.
I digress. Let's move on. Let's move on to Avatar. All right, we got a full look at Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Don't give me that.
No, I'm sorry.
From gameplay to release date. So this is going to be a first-person action game style. In the style of Far Cry, right? The main protagonist is a Na'vi. A Na'vi, if you haven't watched any of the movies or play the original game, which was terrible, Na'vi are the people of the land of Pandora.
Right. The blue people, yeah.
The blue giant people. By the way, they're not small. They're giants.
They're pretty big. You're right. Yeah. They're pretty big.
Yeah. Basically, the main protagonist and a bunch of other Na'vis were taken as children and trained by the RDA, which is a military-style group of the villains that are in the movie. That were trying to take over the land of Pandora and use their, resources. When the RDA was attacked and had to leave the base, the Na'vi were put in some type of cryostasis chamber, where they stayed for 15 years. I don't know the math on this. I don't know when the last Avatar movie was out. Maybe it lines up.
2009, I think, was the first Avatar movie. The last one came out like the end of last year?
Last year, yeah. It came out last year.
2022.
Yeah.
So,
right, maybe it lines up somewhat with the first movie, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Now,
it kind of does.
Yeah. Well, now you're awake, and it looks like the RDA are back, and now the player has to find a way to sort of reintegrate herself with the Na'vi people, right? Because she grew up under the RDA because she was kidnapped as a kid, so she really didn't have a chance to grow up with her people and know the sort of culture and what to do in with the land and how you can integrate yourself with the resources of the land and the people and you have to help the native the Na'vi people drive the RDA off of Pandora once again.
And it seems like there'll be these quote-unquote outposts that are like overgrown with like some sort of disease or whatever. The RDA has taken them over and they've all kind of wilted away, and you clear it out, right? You get in there, you fight them off, you do the quest or whatever, and then it brings it back to full, like everything starts blooming again and everything, like you bring it back and you've cleansed that area is essentially how the gameplay is going to go, I think. And they'll probably mix it up with a bunch of different style of missions.
Yeah, it's Far Cry meets Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
right?
This is
essentially what it is. You're liberating outposts.
Okay, I'm gonna preface my statement. I'm gonna preface my couple of statements with this. I was never gonna play this game to begin with. I hate Avatar. I just don't care about it. Honestly, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a hater or whatnot, but and it looks pretty. The first one looked pretty. This last one also looked really pretty, but I just don't. I don't care about any of the world building, and the story is like the story is like non-existent. It's bare bones, cookie cutter. We've all heard it before. And you can say that about a lot of movies, to be honest, but it's
I know.
Not that great.
But it is. Well, look, I
hold on. But if I was gonna play a game involving Avatar, what I thought this was gonna be, and what I would want it to be, would be like an Uncharted style, point to point game, right? Where you're doing the missions, right? And the mission's like, well, we got to get to like this thing and fight off these enemies, and it's kind of a linear thing. But you can kind of like go different paths maybe around in the thing, but you're working towards a goal, as opposed to more of an open world thing. I don't know. Like it just doesn't. I don't know. It seems like it's too much.
Are you a big Far Cry fan at all?
I do like Far Cry. Far Cry is. I haven't played enough of it. I should play more of it. But when I do play it, I enjoy it. I like that. But I think
I'm not the biggest Far Cry fan, though. I'm not out.
Okay.
I'm not the liberating outpost type of person, right? Like I'm more of the linear Uncharted style type of person.
Right.
The game style isn't really my cup of tea, but I'm intrigued by the story, so I will give this a try.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like, if they have it on Games Pass or whatever, I'll try it. But yeah, the backdrop to it is really not the thing, And I think that's actually a very good point. If this was like Far Cry 7, right, and they had all the mechanics of that game, but they just changed all the theming to it and the story in the background, I'd probably be more interested in it.
All you gotta do is think of this as like Far Cry Future, right? This is the future in Far Cry. We had Primal.
We already had the future with New Dawn. Wasn't that the kind of cyberpunky one?
I'm just saying. Just think of this as Far Cry with blue people.
I'm gonna think of it as a bargain bin $9.99 pickup.
Oh, how about this? Far Cry. You know how they had Far Cry. What was the last one? 6, right? Like this is Far Cry Pandora. There you go. Far Cry Pandora.
No, I'm not gonna pick it up.
The blue people. All right.
I don't know.
The one interesting thing that I'm asking is in the intro, you or a group of young Na'vi that were kidnapped and trained to fight your own people, and then when the RDA were leaving, they wanted to eliminate you, but you were saved by your teacher and put in cryogenic stasis for 15 years. You only play as her.
Right.
The main, she doesn't have a name, or at least they never mentioned her name. It's just like she's a Na'vi. What happened to the other kids? Did they die? Or are you the only one? Are you the only one that woke up?
They're in the background of the cutscenes. It's fine. They're okay.
Yeah. They're like, you go liberate some things. We're gonna stay here.
Yeah, we're gonna have some of this like awesome cornmeal. It's gonna be great. Play with our dragon friends.
Yeah. Well, the game's coming out December 17th.
Oh,
so I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got sort of extended or in-depth gameplay of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And we know this is coming out January 28th, 2024. I asked the question when we first saw this at Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards, but out awards, right? Just think of the Game Awards and just slash out awards.
Yeah,
right? The games. Yeah, there you go. That's the logo. See, Jeff Keighley, I'm here. It's all free. We did. I did pose a question. You are part of the immortals because you have to save the prince. You don't play as the prince in Prince of Persia. In this game, you play as one of the immortal warriors, right? And we said that you are part of a team. What happened to the rest of your team? Will you get to play as the rest of your team? Will this be, can you swap out or anything?
Yeah.
You said no. I said that, we both posed where are the rest of the immortals if you're a team. Yeah. They did go over this and say, they did explain how you get separated from your allies. So something happens where you get separated from the rest of the immortals. So I got my question answered.
There you go. There you go. I will say much better trailer than the one that was at the Microsoft stage, right? It was on Xbox, right? Was on the
it was the first game it was the first game he showed.
They had some weird I don't know, it was like some weird butt rock or whatever that they had. The soundtrack didn't match with the gameplay. I don't think it was really jarring to me. But the gameplay looked great. This had a much better trailer with much more fitting music. I was much more into this one.
Well, our main character name is I think it's Sargon. Sargon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's gonna be the main character. Definitely, he wields 2 swords, and he does find a bow and arrow at some point. So that would be sort of like a Metroid power up where you can shoot probably long range arrows to get to a certain area.
Right,
So
hitting down targets. Opening up drawbridges. Right, cutting the ropes and all that.
It's probably an enemy you can't reach that won't let you get past this.
Right. You got to take them off the high perch. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the
looking forward.
But you have the time powers. Did you see that? Like that. Those look awesome. Where you can backtrack when the walls are caving in on you, and you can backtrack to where he was over there before the wall was caving in.
I guess he has the Sands of Time. Right, because I don't know how else you do that in the universe unless they have some other thing, some other
That's true.
No,
that's true. I'm looking forward to this. I wish we could swap out this in Avatar and put this in December and put Avatar in January. That would have been better.
Yeah,
that would have been better for me. Because that just would have put the icing on the cake for the year. Because I know you're not an Avatar fan, but you would play Prince of Persia.
Oh hell yeah, I'm definitely getting Prince of Persia.
Okay. All right, next, we got to see the game that's going back to its roots, or at least that's what they pretty much said during the conference, and that's Assassin's Creed Mirage. And we got to see sort of an extended stealth-focused gameplay for this game. Just as a reminder, this game's coming out October 12th, so October seems to be stacked. And we got Alan Wake, Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed Mirage. I know I'm missing a bunch of other games. Probably Call of Duty when it gets announced is going to be in October. So October is going to be great.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be big. It looks like the same as any other sort of AC, original AC game.
Well, it's back to like the AC 2 through 4 style.
Yeah.
Right? It looks like they took out all the RPG mechanics, the level upgrading, the thousands of different weapons that are all slightly better than the other one. They got rid of all that, and it's back to a couple of weapons and more like the assassinations, right? They're getting rid of all the extra cruft, going back to like the core roots, which I think is cool. I thought it was getting a little bit bloated, and it looks like they recognize that. So they're going back to like this kind of old style. You're in the Middle East, I think, like, what is it, like Iraq or Iran? I forget what, Saudi Arabia, maybe?
I totally forgot the actual setting of this game.
I think it's whatever Saudi Arabia was before it was Saudi Arabia, maybe. It's certainly in the heart of the Middle East. But it does look... Well, good.
No, I'm just saying, but it's all about... I mean, they did say it's mainly about stealth, but there are ways that you can, you can fight your way out.
Right.
There will be abilities and weapons where you can fight your way out if stealth breaks down, but it's mostly gone back to its assassin, not barbarian Creed. This is Assassin's Creed, which is more on the stealthy side.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
But that wasn't...
Bossum is the name of the main character this time, which I think is cool. Yeah.
And wasn't he in the last game? Right, he was in he was in one
Valhalla?
of the games. Maybe he was in Valhalla. He wasn't the main character, but he is from he is like a side character in one of the former Assassin's Creed games.
I didn't get that far in Valhalla, and I think you may be right.
We did talk about it, and I totally like butchered his name.
Yeah, I think you may be right. I think they did kind of like, I guess, tease him or bring him in some of the other ones. Yeah.
So, but I am looking forward to this. I mean, Origins was my jam. I really loved Origins, and everything else just sort of broke down for me. Didn't really capture me, so I'm looking forward to buying this.
Baghdad is Baghdad's the place.
Baghdad.
So you play in Iraq, or the capital of Iraq, Baghdad.
So this was not the only Assassin's Creed game got announced, or we got to see some gameplay of. We did see Assassin's Creed Nexus VR for the MetaQuest 2.
Yep.
It is it has a 3-story arc featuring, Assassin's Creed's 2 Ezio. We got Ezio, and then we got Odyssey's Cassandra and AC3's Connor.
Yeah, I'm very
no
upset.
release date. No release date.
I'm very upset there's no Captain Kenway from 4. He's the GOAT. Ezio, Ezio's the GOAT. Kenway is like my number 2 in terms of heroes.
Ezio was in 3 games, right? Because we have
Ezio was in the trilogy of 2, Revelations and Brotherhood. Brotherhood was the second one. Yeah, he was in 3 of them. Ezio's awesome. Love him. This
it looked really good.
Well,
this is something I want for the PSVR 2.
No,
I want this for the PSVR 2.
We didn't really see. We saw a sizzle reel.
We saw a sizzle reel of what you're gonna see when you're in the game.
We'll see how the gameplay actually plays out, but it's very hard to give you the VR experience for a game.
It is hard. It is hard. It is hard. I'm not saying it is. It is hard, but you can see. You're seeing what your character is seeing. Obviously, it's not going to have the same effect because you're not in the world, but at least if I know this is the world I'm going to see and I'm the assassin, that's great. The only thing I would want to know is, when stealth breaks down, is it like going to reset and you got to try again? Or can I
can you find your way out of it, climb up the roofs and all that? Yeah. Yeah,
because that's where people might get a little dizzy, right? Or
a little. They get a lot dizzy. Yeah,
I mean, I haven't gotten dizzy or lightheaded. I was just saying for other people who are prone to getting dizzy or lightheaded in VR, that could be like the major issue right there.
100%. Yeah, I think that's going to be a very tough problem to solve. It's going to be a tough problem to solve the stealth and the whatever else too, like crawling around and then going up to a guy's neck and just like bam, like right in the side. Like, it's cool. I like the idea of it, but we'll see how it turns out. What the actual gameplay is at the end of the day. But we'll see.
This is what PSVR 2 needed. I'm sorry. Like, it shouldn't be
we'll
Quest 2.
See. I don't know. I don't know if this is the killer IP, Dan. I don't know.
It's not the killer IP, but it may not be the cake, but it's the icing for the cake. When this is like,
right,
hey,
we'll see.
Because everybody loved playing as Batman, right? Like when we had that, like it was more of an experience though. But the Batman game for the original PSVR was like, oh, this is really cool. This isn't the cake.
Never got. But if you had,
but if you had if you had the killer app, this is a great.
Would you want a whole like 50, 60 hour long open world game in VR as Batman?
5-hour, yeah, like 5-hour game. Not
there
50,
you go. That's not a full AAA game. That's a game you beat in a weekend, and then you put it down. You go, that was cool, and never go back to it.
I beat Call of Duty in a weekend. I mean, well, first of all, none of these games are 50 hours. I mean, Last of Us Part 2 take 25 hours. I would take. All right, well,
even that, it's like one fifth of the time is you're like, I could do 5 hours of Batman in VR, and I'm good.
Yeah, but
that's a short game.
So, I know, but it's a VR game, so it's okay. It's a short VR game. The VR games can't be 20 hours. We're not at that point yet. Like maybe. Well, I mean, even no. It can't be. We're not at that point. When VR games, when VR headsets are as small as just a pair of sunglasses, let's put it like a Google Glass.
Size is part of it, but it's still uncomfortable in that thing for long periods of time too. I think that's the other thing. People get queasy, people get hot.
Yeah, but look what you said. That means size is everything. Because if it's the size of your pair of sunglasses,
I mean, it helps.
You're not gonna. Yeah.
But it even if it was like super tiny, it could still be like a nauseating experience if the feel isn't there, right? Because I think you're right. There's a lot of disconnect between what your character is doing and what you are doing, and it I don't know. It messes with people's brains a little bit.
It takes away from it's hot and sweaty because it's a pair of sunglasses, just like Google Glass was, right?
Well, but I'm saying
that point.
But even like the gameplay, even if you do all that, if the gameplay doesn't match what you're doing or what you expect to happen, it gets a little weird. So I guess.
Well, we didn't talk about it, but Apple had their conference, and people are saying the VR, the motion on that headset is amazing.
Well,
I mean,
for $4,000, it better be. Or 3,500. Sorry, it better be.
I know. You just use your hands and you prick, right? Like,
Yeah.
and everybody said, even the Apple haters said, you know what? You may hate the price, but you can't hate what they've done, right? Like if this,
I'm sure it's a great experience.
Yeah.
I just want to know if I can go into the Apple Store and try it out, which probably not.
You can.
Oh, you
No,
can.
you can. You have to set up an appointment. But you can.
Okay.
The only issue that I would have, and side note for we didn't put the Apple conference on our docket at E3. The battery, which cleverly they have it tethered, right?
Right. It's got a little battery pack. Yeah.
Battery, so it's not on your head, so it doesn't add to the weight that's on your head. Mm-hmm. The issue is it only lasts like 2 hours, right?
It's not long. Yeah.
It's not long, and that's for now, right? Apple headset, whatever it's called, 4 or 5, will probably last a lot longer. But my issue is that you can't just take that battery out and put a new battery in. As soon as you take the battery out, it shuts off.
The whole thing shuts off.
It should have some type of backup to where it can last like 5 minutes while
you do the swap out. Yeah.
Well,
that I didn't realize.
Changing a battery, because if you watch a movie. Right, if you watch a Marvel movie,
you watch a long movie.
That's half the movie. That's half the movie.
I know.
And then you're gonna have to cut it off.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my little
you're right. There is definitely still a long road to go for sure. But
we're getting there, and I think Apple's helping.
Oh, for sure.
Remember, and just again, last thing about the Apple conference, somebody in CNN showed an old commercial, it was a flyer from the original cell phones that came out like in the early 80s.
Oh, the big Zach Morris bricks. Yeah.
They were the same price as the VR headsets. They were in the thousands of dollars
for sure.
Range.
Yeah.
And then 20 years later, we got them down, in price and in size.
Yeah.
So, if we can have the headsets now and people actually take to it, they put money into it, and then 15 years from now, they may be closer, maybe not quite there, but closer to the size of sunglasses, right? Or not as hefty on your head.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. Yeah. So, all right. Back to Ubisoft Forward. We got one more Assassin's Creed game. They did announce, they already announced it, but they did sort of, we saw a little bit of gameplay. That's Assassin's Creed codenamed Jade, which will be a mobile game. It's the first time in AC, in an AC game that you fully customize the appearance of an assassin, like the gender, clothes, and amongst other things, just not your genitals.
This ain't no cyberpunk. No.
Yeah. It takes place during the China Qin dynasty.
Yep.
And you can register for the closed beta now.
Mm-hmm. Not the first AC game in China. There was literally an Assassin's Creed China. It was very much in the same vein. It was one of those. It was like more of a bite-sized indie game. It was 2D. Right. There was India, China, and Russia, I think, were the three that they had for it. Yeah, and they were cool.
And I have them on the Vita. Put them out on the Vita and the 3DS.
Yeah, very cool games.
So, all right, a couple of quick takes. We're gonna fly through these. We got the Crew Motorfest coming September 14th. This one looked awesome. I was really into it. I was like, you know what? I like the Crew. Crew is one of my favorite sort of racing games. I don't know why they didn't just call this the Crew 3 instead of Motorfest. I don't know if this is going to be sort of like a spin-off like they have Horizon Motorsport and Horizon. No, I don't know. I don't know why they just call it the Crew 3, but definitely looking forward to playing that.
This was the one that's in Hawaii, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe
cool.
So. I believe so.
Yeah, I love the I love that setting. Like that's a great setting to ride around in.
Well, we did get a movie trailer or a TV show trailer. I don't know what this is. This was like my scratching the head of the presentation. That was
pretty sure it's a TV show. Yeah, it's a series.
Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix coming to Netflix later this year. So you get another Netflix video game tie-in.
So you know what this is from, right? This is from Far Cry.
This is from Far Cry.
This was the game that was announced. What's that?
Wasn't Blood Dragon like the DLC?
I don't know if they necessarily called it DLC. I think it was its own thing because they announced it April 1st They announced it on April Fool's, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. I forget. It's been a while, but it was right after Far Cry 3, I think. So that's how old this is. I think it was after Far Cry 3. And they announced Far Cry Blood Dragon. And it was like this like 80s kind of synth-wavy, cyberpunky style like shooter. I'm like, this is amazing. This can't be real. And then they're like, no, it's coming out. And it was apparently amazing.
It came out April 30th of 2013.
There you go. Yeah. So it was that long ago. So they're bringing that to the small screen on Netflix. And the guy who created it, who came out on stage to talk about it, Adi Shankar, is the guy who did the Castlevania series. So we know it's going to be at least decent. Because I'm not going to say I remember. Okay, I remember Blood Dragon because it didn't have a physical per se, but it did come with a compilation of 2 other games, and that's how we got a physical of it. Right,
so
right.
It's on a PS3. No, it looked okay. I was a little scratching my head. He was a little awkward on stage.
He's that's his persona. Yeah, he's that guy.
I thought maybe he was gonna, just walk off stage or get nervous, but maybe that's just him. Okay,
it's just kind of his, it's just how he is.
Still awkward.
Yeah.
We got a live concert. Now this was the most weird. This is the weirdest part of the show.
It was cool, man. I was about this.
We got a live concert with an original Skull and Bones song for Skull and Bones. Closed betas coming August 25th through the 28th.
They were singing a sea shanty. It was cool, man. No? Oh, I love that. I love that style. It's great.
No, okay. I'm good.
That was one of the that was one of the best parts of Assassin's Creed 4. You could pick up sheet music, and then you could have your crew sing different songs when you're on the high seas. And they were like period accurate sea shanties. That's very good. I love it.
Not about it. We did see Master Chief and Arbiter in Brawlhalla. It's coming out July 12th. So this is what everybody wanted in Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
This is what everybody wanted. So I thought this was cool.
I'm
not a big Brawlhalla fan, but it's good to see the connection between Microsoft and Ubisoft.
When we were at PAX East 2020, we were hanging out with our friend Matt, who's friend of the show and all that. He's been on a couple times. Me and him looked at the Brawlhalla booth and were like, how is that still a thing? Why is that still going on? They have I think there's 100 characters in that game right now. And they have tons of crossovers. Now they have even more crossovers. I don't know who's playing this game.
A lot of people, and now they got Xbox people. They should just put it on Games Pass. I mean, I don't know if it's not on Games Pass, but that would make sense. If you have Games Pass, then you get to play with Master Chief. And
I have it for the Switch. I played it 2 times, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm just going to play Smash.
Me too. Ugh. So, all right. Lastly, we got Roller Champion crossover with Jet Set Radio starring Gum and Beat coming June 27th.
Let's go. Tell me this isn't just the big Jet Set Radio news. Because this is great, don't get me wrong. I am picking up Roller Champions now, playing as these characters. They look great. They did a really nice job with it.
I knew Dave would be excited for that.
I want there to be... The internet community wants it. It's not just me. There's a strong campaign to say, come on, we need to do Jet Set Radio. It's been 22 years, I believe. Well, 2001? Yeah, I think it came out 2001. Or 2002, or early 2002 was when Jet Set Radio Future for the original Xbox, one of the best games on that system. Love it. And that's where that game shall live. It hasn't been ported to any other systems. They haven't done any HD upgrades to it. They did the original one. They put that on PS3 and Xbox 360 digitally. But we need a new Jet Set game, Dan. It's criminal. Okay. What is Sega doing?
Well, they're doing a crossover.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right.
I love it.
All right. That's it. That's all we got. We went through mostly all the games. I didn't mention the Just Dance opening act. Which, by the way,
I would have won. I would have won bingo on that. Come on now, how did I not call that?
By the way, out of all the Just Dance presentations they had,
this was the best one.
This was the best one.
Yeah, they're all the same.
It was the less egregious. And they did it right. They started it with Just Dance, sort of like the opening ceremony is like, hey, and it went from a digital. It went from like a digital recorded spot to live, and then after they were done, they cut to the game, right?
Yep.
So, like another game, which was great. So it was
in and out.
It was sort of it was in and out. They didn't have like 5 different spots, 5 different songs and all that stuff live on stage. But
yep.
How would you rate the Ubisoft Showcase 2023?
If he asked me the day before, I would have said this is going to be like C tier at best. But I gotta say, they came with the games, they came with the content. We got a lot of stuff. I'm gonna give it a B.
Wow.
I'm gonna be fair.
Okay.
I'm gonna be fair.
Okay.
And I was like, what do they have to show besides Assassin's Creed and Just Dance? And okay, they had some Skull and Bone stuff, some other Assassin's Creed stuff. The Roller Champions, Captain Laserhawk was a big surprise. So all right. And they had a deep dive Avatar, as garbage as that game is going to be. It's garbage, Dan.
Already starting. All right.
I'm just saying. I'm being honest.
I'm going to give this an A. It was an A. I'm sorry. It was an A.
Okay. Because a lot of content. I can't fault it.
I got what I want. What I want, and what I want is gameplay. I got gameplay, actual gameplay. I got to see Star Wars gameplay. I got to see Prince of Persia gameplay. I got to see Avatar gameplay. No matter how you feel about these games, we got to see what they are all about, and we got to see what we're going to be doing in them. Right? Yeah. They got me hyped. They got me. Okay. They did what they were supposed to do. They got me hyped about something coming out in the future that I'm going to spend my money on. Yeah. Now, when it comes out, will it be good? Who knows? I'm not saying it's going to be good, but they got me hyped for something that's coming out. And we didn't get a big feature Just Dance in the middle of the presentation.
I think
which was awkward.
I think I have to throw a little criticism, because where we did see a lot of gameplay. Kind of. We saw some stuff in engine or whatever else. It was very stylized, I mean, and we get that a lot with a lot of these. It wasn't like a dude with a controller running around and
Again,
the
job of these conferences is to get you hyped about the things that are coming.
Well, that's the thing, though. If the game comes out and ends up being real bad, it's like, performance
that's the second part. Like right now, this is the marketing team's job right now to get you hyped about the games.
I mean, they did.
It's the developer's job to make a good game.
Yeah.
All right. So this is E3 is for all the marketing, all the people who graduate with marketing degrees to get together and earn their keep. And
right.
And Ubisoft's marketing team they killed it. They got it done. They got it done. Mm-hmm. I give them an A.
Okay.
The down parts for me was Skull and Bones song.
Oh.
And the Captain Laserhawk TV show was a little awkward.
Well, does it help that it's the guy from Castlevania?
No, it doesn't.
Why? That you love that show.
I do, but it doesn't help that it was the guy from Castlevania. It helps. No, I
think it does help.
It helps the show, but it didn't help that he was the one that presented it.
Well, I'm talking about when it ends up coming out. Are you going to watch it, right? But No.
Again, there we go. His job was to make a great show, right? And we don't know if it's going to be a great show or not, but I'm sure it'll probably be decent because he made it.
I feel like it's going to be good, given
the marketing team was supposed to get me hyped for the show, and they didn't by putting him on stage and being awkward. I'm sorry.
I disagree. His performance.
You can put his name on it. His
performance was awkward, but his enthusiasm was genuine. And he was out there doing it and look, I'm the guy behind the scenes. I'm the mastermind behind it. Taking this property that was an April Fool's meme, essentially, and turning it into now like a TV show. I don't know.
And that's what he should have did, and he didn't do. He didn't do that. You did a better job than he did. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay.
It was a little awkward. It was I'm saying it was a down. It was a down port. For
Okay,
me.
all right.
That was sort of a downer. That was a downer for me. But we got gameplay. We got a variety of games. We got racing, Assassin's Creed, VR, mobile, and mobile wasn't egregious, and it was something new and
one. I think it was just the one mobile thing.
Just the one mobile thing. We got major games that you're gonna be hyped for in some games. No, there were two games. There were two. Wasn't it the Division? They had the Division. The Division game was a mobile game, so I think they had two mobile games. We didn't talk about it.
Oh, there is the Division mobile game. That's right.
But there was a Division mobile game. Yeah,
it looks cool. It's going to be microtransaction heavy, so I'm out.
Yeah, of course.
And I was never hankering to play that game on the go. Like we haven't played it together in ages, but I would rather play it at home if I was going to play it.
I know, but I would give it an A because it did its job. It gave me hype. It got me hyped for everything that they're working on. Right now, it's up to the developers to make a good game. So when I actually do buy it, I'm not calling it trash on the show. So, all right, last conference. Let's go over Capcom's showcase. Yes.
Do we have to, Dan?
We have to go over. They had it. You know what? For what it's worth, Capcom Showcase 2023 was better than Capcom Showcase in 2020 and 2021.
Well, that's the bar.
It was a low bar. It was very low. It was
no. The bar doesn't even exist. You can just walk right through. It's not hard to beat their previous showcases. They've had some downer years. That's fair to say.
2020 it was why do we even have 2021 why do we even have this?
And if you're asking that question after seeing the showcase, that's bad. That's really bad, All right. And it's not even like there was stuff that we're just not interested in this. There just was nothing there. There was zero substance to it.
No, in 2021 they announced one game and had a 35-minute presentation on Monster Hunter, maybe?
I think it was the Monster Hunter game, yeah. Monster Hunter Rise or something.
And that was it. That was it. That was it. That was all it was.
Yep.
So and DLC for Monster Hunter.
Of course.
So it was terrible. So why do you even have a show? Just put it out on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Showcase. We got an extended deep dive trailer for Dragon's Dogma 2. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Dogma is a single-player narrative-driven action RPG. The game is 4 times bigger than the first game, so that map is going to be really big. NPC characters will fight the game's giant beasts alongside you. So that seems to be the big hook that everybody's, excited for about this game. I don't think we didn't get a release date. We still don't know what's happening when we're going to get this game, and that seems to be a common theme for pretty much everything in this showcase, with the exception of two games. What do you think about Dragon's Dogma?
I mean,
really think
it's a property from 2012, which is coming back, which is cool. I'm glad they're making a new one for it. It looks like everyone's excited for it. I'm talking about the devs and Capcom's treating it as a top tier game.
I know, but it's an action RPG. It's like an action RPG.
Yeah. I guess
people like the first one.
I never played the first one, so I'm not invested in it in that way. Maybe I'll check it out. I'm not saying I'm down on it. I'm just saying I didn't get hooked in it.
Seems that way.
I didn't get hooked in the way that you got hooked on some of the stuff from that you got hooked on Avatar, I guess, right? It just didn't, And it's not to say that it wasn't an exciting trailer. It wasn't that the presenter wasn't exciting. It's just it didn't really hit me that way. So,
okay.
It's cool. I mean, I'm glad we're getting a part 2. I'm glad we got to see more info out of it, but
okay. Then we get to see Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Ace Attorney, it's basically Ace Attorney 4, 5, and 6 are getting HD remasters.
They're just modernizing them, yeah.
And it's coming out to Switch, PS4, Xbox One, PC early 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's cool. It's good news. I'm glad they're doing it. They did the first 3 already. They put them out in HD on modern consoles at the time, which I think you can play on the PS5 and the Xbox Series consoles as well as PC. So that's awesome. They're not all locked on the GBA and the DS. So that's cool. Good to see. Not a new set of games, but just
remastered, HD
Yeah.
remastered.
Yeah.
Good to see that it's coming out to all platforms, not just Switch.
Yeah.
Then we got Exo Primal gets a new trailer and a roadmap and a battle pass reveal, right? A second beta test is happening June 16th through June 18th, and the game is coming out July 14th. And don't forget, and also remember, there will be a Street Fighter 6 crossover where Guile and Ryu, like a robotic Guile and Ryu, will be in the game. And it's still weird to see Ryu with a weapon, right? It's like
because he's all like fisticuffs, right? He's got that Shoto style.
Exo Primo looks like Destiny meets Anthem, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the Battle Pass stuff. It is going to kind of be... Looks like it's going to be a games as a service type situation. I think you're right. It does kind of have that Destiny feel. I love the look of it. I got to see how the gameplay loop goes.
It's Capcom's version of Destiny, right?
And it's also coming out after Zelda, after Diablo, after Street Fighter, and it's sandwiched in between the Spider-Man. It's sandwiched in between Starfield. It's such a packed year. Mortal Kombat, Tekken. It's such a packed year for all these games. It's going to get lost in the shuffle, and I feel bad because it looks cool. It looks cool, but it's just, I don't know. It's too good of a year. I don't foresee Exo Primal lasting that long. And it's not a game that I don't think they can just put out there and just let it be, because there's such a online component to it. So I don't know if it's going to last a couple of years.
I think that's why they announced the Street Fighter 6 crossover with Exo Primal right before,
to give it a little bit of buzz. Yeah, a little bit
of buzz with the Street Fighter 6 coming out, a month prior.
Right. Yeah.
Then we got something that I thought we were going to see, I knew we were going to see, but we didn't really see. Is that what I was expecting? And that is Pragmata got delayed indefinitely. We saw this originally at the PlayStation Showcase back in 2020 when they announced the PS5. It was delayed. It was the one with the astronaut looking
and they were in like New York City or whatever.
In the middle of Times Square with the little girl. So it was originally delayed until 2022, and that now it was delayed out of 2023 with no other further information. They did have a note that said they were sorry. Our team is currently hard at work making the best game we possibly can. But we need more time. I like the way they did it, because they had a little scissor rail where the little girl was writing on a note, and it had 2022 crossed out, 2023 crossed out.
Yeah, they made a whole trailer for it to say we're sorry, which is above and beyond.
Very sorry.
They did not need to do that, but I guess they had like enough assets. They were able to like put that together, which I think is really cool. Let the devs cook. Let them kind of do their thing, right? This game seems, we don't even know what this game's going to be about. But it's intriguing enough.
Well, if you do a rewind feature, which I did, I was trying to do it, see if we could put it up on our YouTube channel. If you do a little bit of rewind and pause and just let it go frame by frame slowly, right? It looks like an action adventure game where you're an astronaut looking, you look like you're an astronaut with modern weapons fighting some extraterrestrials who knows where,
right?
And the girl is going to be sort of on your shoulder or in your backpack, where she has magical powers where she can like help defend or maybe shield you in some capacity.
I'm sold. You got me. Put a controller in my hand. Like. $70.
That's what it looks like.
Capcom.
That's what it looks like.
I'll take my pre-order. So, that'd be awesome.
Hopefully, honestly, I think this is going to be, I think this is going to be a good game. When they actually show what you're going to be doing, I think it's going to be like a good game.
2024 or 2025?
It got originally shown in originally announced in 2020.
Right.
But because of the delay, it could be a late 2024 game or early 2025 game.
Yeah. I'm feeling.
We haven't seen any. We haven't seen anything. Right?
Well,
like we haven't got an actual gameplay trailer. So I think next year we're gonna see an extended trailer. It's gonna be one of the surprises of the show, and they're gonna say early 2025.
I think I think it's kind of a good thing it got delayed because I mean, even if it managed somehow to come out this year, I think it may have gotten lost in the shuffle. Yeah, because there's just so much good stuff.
All right, a couple of quick takes from the show. Ghost Trick Remastered. Coming out June 30th. There's a demo available now on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Then we got Path of Goddess trailer.
Path of the Goddess, yeah.
Path of the Goddess. Running in the RE engine. This was shown at I think this was either Xbox or Jeff Keighley's event. Is an action strategy game. Action and strategy. Coming out on the Xbox Series X. PS5 and PC. We didn't see much about that, so people are really curious. Look out for that, moving forward. And then lastly, we got Mega Man X Dive, which is an offline Mega Man X Dive offline coming to Steam, iOS, and Android. You can play as Mega Man X and other characters. This is a Mega Man mobile game.
I believe this is out, and they're putting in an offline mode. I thought it was brand new, but yeah,
I thought it was brand new too, but I don't know.
No, this is a offline version, so they're taking it out of mobile, I think, and like you can just kind of like play it without having a internet connection or whatever. It's just weird that they have to put offline in it. Why not just say, we're making an update that's like coming to other consoles or whatever it is, like Mega Man X Dive offline. It's a terrible name. Yeah. Is it not? Like, I mean,
no, it is. No, it is. I give you that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the game is. I can't rate the game, but I can rate the game's name. It's trash.
There you go.
How would you rate the Capcom showcase for 2023?
Is F an option? Is that too much? No, I'm kidding.
Come on, really? Give it an F? You're gonna give it F?
It was not great.
It wasn't great, but is it a failing grade?
It was the worst one. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't shake your head. No. Okay, I'll give it a C-. Yeah. I'll give it a C- because like there was some stuff there.
All right. I give it.
Path of the Goddess looks awesome. I'm cautiously hyped for Exoprimal. I wish there was Pragmata. Dragon's Dogma didn't really grab me, so yeah, C-.
I give it a C. The presentation was
right there.
Presentation was good. Dragon's Dogma 2 was the biggest thing they had to show. It is an action RPG, and people do love the first one. I do like the Ace attorney games. I do want to get into them. I just never played them on my 3DS, but now I can get it on the Switch, or at least the last 4, 5, and 6. Exoprimal, not for me, but Destiny's not for me, and it's big, right? So I can't say, oh, I'm not hyped for it, so it's trash. Other people like it. That's, so that's cool. My biggest disappointment was Pragmata getting delayed indefinitely. I mean, that kind of sucks.
And no Resident Evil. No Resident Evil 4 DLC, no updates, no nothing.
Yeah, that kind of sucked. But we did, the Path of the Goddess, we already saw the same trailer. They pretty much showed it again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they gave you more, and we got more info.
We did.
We got more info about the game.
There's still more questions than answers. About this game.
They did their job, as you would say. I am definitely hyped. I'm hyped for Path of the Goddess.
And we get a demo for Ghost Trick Remastered. Right, that's coming out on all platforms. And the biggest thing that people were really down on, I don't think it's I don't know if I would call it trash by any means, but it is their 40th anniversary. 40th.
Oh, the online thing, yeah.
And they got their, Capcom World, where you can go in and sort of it's what the PlayStation 3 Hub World used to be. What was that called? Home, PlayStation
it's
Home.
Nothing like home. No,
you go into arcade and you get to play
you don't have to wait in line. I mean, you just go and click on the thing and play your final fight.
I thought you did. I thought you had to wait in line. I thought I saw like the avatars. That's the way it looked.
I don't know.
Maybe I was zoning out at this point.
But it's an online experience. They like Dan was mentioning, they do have some old school arcade games, so you can play like Final Fight for free right now and a couple other ones. They're going to cycle those out, I think. You can learn about the history of Capcom. I mean, yeah, not necessarily the most exciting, but I mean, it's either going to be this or a 40th anniversary collection, which they technically already did with like, what was it, like the Capcom arcade thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could you'd have to buy the games piecemeal. You got one game free, and then you could go in and buy a bunch of other games if you wanted to. But it was cool the way they were all like candy cab machines, right? You can see all the arcade machines lined up when you cycle through them, and you actually sit down at the arcade machine to play it. And it had a lot of cool options for the different games, like the different screen resolutions and controller settings and all that. So they went the mile there, and I think that's. I mean, you want to get into the classics, do that, play that.
So,
but yeah,
I give it a C.
Okay, yeah, we're in the same boat, yeah.
See, I can even, I would even downgrade it to a C minus.
Oh,
think about
nice.
it. You know what? C minus.
Oh, look at that. There you go. See, I told you, it's C minus. See,
I changed my mind in the fly.
Terrible. Well, all right. That is it, folks. That is our E3. I'm sorry. That is our Summer Games Fest. No, I'm sorry. Jeff Keighley presents the games coverage. We're done. Well, we got a lot of stuff. We went through it all. A lot of it looks really good. It's gonna be a great year. Big things are coming. So. Yeah. And when these games come out, that me and Dan are going to have hot takes on them. We're definitely going to give you that good juicy coverage. So, but yeah, that is episode 365 in the books, folks. That's a full year right there. 365. That's one episode a day. If you went back and listened to all those episodes, that'd be a full year of episodes and some more, because some of them were extra episodes. So there you go. And feel free to do that if you guys want to do that. That'd be great. But we want to thank you guys for listening to the show, listening to this show and all other shows, and liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. So please listen, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.